What is going on, guys? My name is Germ and welcome back to the channel. And if you guys are new here, as always, leave your boy a like and subscribe. It's tier list time, baby. It's time to put Vegito and Zamasu on the tier list. And I guess Tien and Chaozu and King Cold and Mecha Frieza. Sure, why not? Whatever. So, without further ado, right, let me first start off with a couple ground rules. Number one, the list is entirely my opinion. This is just how I feel after using these characters and after playing with these characters. This is just 100% my opinion. You guys can have your own opinions, right? Let's say you're like, oh, well, I think LR Hercule is actually top 15 in the game. Then, yeah, you can put LR Hercule top 15 out. Whatever. You can think something. I can think something. We are all entitled to our opinions here. So, you know, just keep putting that out. Number two, this is based on the hardest fights in the game. At the current moment, this list will only be based off Omega, Sin Shenron, and Cell Max, because currently, while Cell and Goku Black are very hard bosses, I do think that we're going to be getting harder stages to the Distant Future Red Zone, plus the Mortal Will and God's Wrath event, whatever that's called, the new kind of difficult event, might introduce some harder bosses as well. So we'll see at the very end of the Worldwide Down Celebration how the landscape of the game changes after those hard stages are implemented. So there's that. So I'll be ranking this off of Omega, Sin, and Cell Max. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the fodder, right? These two, before I really rank who you're here for. Let's start with the fodder characters first. So number one, Tien and Chaozu's EZA. Tien and Chaozu's EZA is like, okay, right? It's good. My one big concern with Tien and Chaozu is just their links. I think their link set is terrible. Now, other than that though, this character is actually, honestly, like, they're not that bad, right? I think I've gotten them up to like 400 or 500k defense if I remember correctly. But it has been a while since I've used this character, because this character will not be getting a lot of play, unfortunately. It's just Earthbred Fighters. The only 200% this character is on is Yamcha, and Earthbred Fighters is too good to be running this guy, to be running Tien and Chaozu. So, I mean, just upon using Tien and Chaozu a few times I have, they're like here, I'd say. I personally, I like Piccolo and Jackie Chun way better than Tien and Chaozu, but that's just me, right? Here seems like a decent spot. I guess when we get like a future, let's say we get a Dokkan Fest Tien at some point, which, I mean, a Dokkan Fest Tien, like Neo Tri-Beam Tien could be a Dokkan Fest exclusive who leads, you know, I guess Earthlings or something like that. Then we can start talking. Once this guy gets more partners, more help, because the best linking partner for this guy is LRTN, Prime Battle LRTN, who's just not that good, right? Let's just be fair. He's not that good. So I think that I will personally be taking that. So next is King Cold and Mecha Frieza. Mecha Frieza and King Cold. Now, I did just recently get this character EZA'd, and I haven't really used them quite yet, but just seeing them in game, like just from seeing some other YouTubers videos and stuff like that, I mean, let's just face the music, man. I think B is fine enough. I might be overrating. I need to actually use this character first, right? Before I actually can make a real opinion. But just from what I've seen from gameplay and stuff like that, because again, I just recently EZA'd this character. Just from seeing what they do, they're just like, eh. They are a Wicked Bloodline category support, but it's like Wicked Bloodline, you know, LR Metal Cooler is on a kind of like a slow decline, unfortunately. You know, the coolers, they can cook, but they're not... You know, they're not on like the greatest setups and stuff like that. They don't have the best help in the world. So I would say this is fine for them right now. I think B is an okay spot for them. I'll see once I actually use them in game. Obviously, I have to get all these Zamasu and Vegito videos out first before I could, you know, before I'm going to do fodder videos on Mecha Frieza and King Cold. So there's the two free-to-play LR EZAs. I do think they're like, Tien and Chaozu are okay, and Mecha Frieza and King Cold, they're just eh. Right? Keep in mind, we are going to get another LR EZA during the Worldwide Download Celebration. We're probably going to get multiple, but confirmed this STR Trunks is going to EZA with the next stage of Extreme Super Battle Road. So we'll see what this guy can do when he drops, and we'll see how the free-to-play landscape changes by then. So up next, I'm going to start with Zamasu. I'm going to start with Zamasu because obviously I am a Goku Black fan. I am a Zamasu stan, a Goku Black fan club leader. Now, Vegito and Zamasu, I do think they are very, very good characters, right? I do think they are very strong characters, and I shall reward them as such. I think Zamasu's 3. Now, let me explain. Before you say anything, no way you're putting Zamasu over Orange Piccolo. Let me explain. I like Zamasu a lot. The big problem with Zamasu is not the character himself. The character, I think, is crafted perfectly. I think this is one of the greatest designed characters that Dokkan has ever dropped. It's this. It's literally this. Now, hear me out. We do know what this guy does. And this guy is looking like he's going to be bare minimum top 3 easy A to UR. So, I mean, once this guy actually is officially in game in a couple days, right? Actually, tomorrow night, he'll be in game officially. Zamasu, I'm saying this is cope, right? This is cope for me. He might be number 1. But, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I've always been saying since the beginning of this year, right? I think that when I had the top 4, just this, right? This was the top 4. You can easily interchange all 4 of these characters. I just think Zamasu's in that area as well, where you can, like, easily change out these characters between the top 5 characters in the game. And I mean, Zamasu is just great. It's just the partner situation is very bad, right? Zamasu is, again, this is going to be the savior of this Zamasu character. We'll see what happens. Maybe LR Rose Easy A's. Maybe, I mean, Goku Black will more than likely Easy A because he's on the banners, right? STR Rose was a fumble. Physical Goku Black is already a 3-year-old, 4-year-old Easy A. And I guess he does have LR Vegito Blue as one of his better linking partners. It's just the partner situation with Zamasu. Now, the major thing is turn 1. I think Zamasu's like easily number 1. Turn 1, nothing touches Zamasu. Nothing can touch Zamasu. And then you have 4 extra turns of 40% damage reduction to kind of just, you know, he has 60% damage reduction for the first 3 turns. At our 3 turns after this 80%, after his first turn. He has 60% damage reduction, over 200k defense, which, I mean, is far than enough, right? With 60% damage reduction, that is enough. Now, the one big major weakness for Zamasu is once that extra 20% goes away, when he is only at 40% damage reduction, he can take a little bit of damage, but it's not like killing you levels of damage, right? This is helped out by the fact, of course, that Zamasu is an extreme class character, and basically every single hard boss in the game is extreme class, right? Then the thing is, Zamasu fully built up is ridiculous. Zamasu fully built up can do like 13 to 15 million attack stats, and he can triple super. So I mean, I'm just saying, Zamasu's damage is insane as well. Then let's discuss that. That's just his base form, right? That's just this guy. But I mean, bro, obviously I'm not going to ignore Infinite Zamasu. Infinite Zamasu is probably the most broken ability in the game. Now, granted, himself is the most broken ability in the game, because obviously you can only transform into one Zamasu, one Infinite Zamasu. You cannot have, you know, multiple Infinite Zamasus going at the same time, because he has the domain feature and you can't stack domains from the looks of it. So let's talk about it, man. I mean, you can't take damage at all. He nullifies every single attack in the game. By the way, funny joke, we got a playable Sky before we got Beast Gohan and Dokkan. Think about that. We got a Sky. We got the Sky as a unit before we got Beast Gohan. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when Beast Gohan finally drops. Yeah, every single attack is nullified. He can do up to 10 million attack stats, right? Obviously, he can do multiple super attacks as well. The support is very nice, the extra 60%. I have had some trouble getting the tech key sphere. He has a double key sphere changer, so maybe it'll work out better, you know? And the last thing I could really say about Zamasu that I don't like this. I don't like Zamasu's leader skill. I think that the combination of categories is very bad for the type of team that you want to build with Zamasu. Now, granted, yes, you can bring any extreme class character you want, but me personally, I just don't like any of these teams. Realm of Gods is pretty much in the mud, right? The two best characters, like Zamasu and Vegito, are the two best characters on Realm of Gods easily. Then you have God Goku as well. Global Chaos is a dead category until we get all those Goku Black and Zamasu Easy A's. And Fused Fighters has really good characters, but they don't really work the best with Zamasu, because the best fusions are the blue fusions and then fusing Goku and Vegeta characters. So you kind of get the point. So I would put Zamasu here. I know a lot of people are going to be upset with me because I'm putting him over Orange Piccolo and the GT Duo. I understand, right? But like I said, this is my opinion, and I'm pretty sure you can mix and match the top 5 like it's nothing. One big thing I want to do also is this. The Z Duo have completely been revived thanks to Omega. They are one of the best characters for the Omega fight. They're able to stack their defense high enough, and by the time you get to Int Omega or STR Omega, you can use the Spear Bomb. They won't take damage. This unit is amazing, right? And they're amazing even for the Goku Black fight as well. So I am personally going to put the Z Duo over the Blue Fusions. I think that the Blue Fusions are very good, but they can get caught in the the hardest fight in the game, which is Omega Shenron. So that's what I'm going to go with right here. So, you know. Let me cook. All right, now Goku and Vegeta. I may anger a lot of people with this one. I want to be very careful with how I want to talk about this unit, because there are a lot of Goku and Vegeta defenders out there. I think they're right there. Now let's talk about it. First of all, the big major thing, their leader skill probably is the best leader skill in the game. This combination of categories is ridiculous, right? The complete opposite of Zamasu is with this category, with this combination. And then, I mean, dog, you can just run LR Bulma on their team. LR, who's a superclass unit that isn't on their team? Actually, I guess, Kid Gohan. Sure. I can't think of a superclass other than LR Bulma. Yajirobe. There we go. Yajirobe. You can just run Yajirobe, LR Bulma on their team. Obviously, the bad part is that it's only 150%, but they did went 170. It would have been overpowered. It would have been way too overpowered. Right? Here we go. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Vegeta and Goku. They are very good for the first 4 turns. They are insanely good. They are crazy good. They are crazy powerful. The one thing I will say is their damage may not be up there, right? The damage doesn't really matter the most because they get higher damage in slot 2. However, you want to be running this character in slot 1. Now, the reason why you want to be running this character in slot 1 is because they have a 50% chance to dodge in slot 1. Now, if they get touched, they still have their guard to fall back on for the first few turns after their intro is activated, right? Now, one thing that really ticks me off about this character is, like, what's the point of this? Why are we having category restrictions on a 2023 Dokkan Fest LR? Now, yes, I understand that Roma Gods might get, like, the 3 hardest fights in the game soon, right? Once we get the last couple stages of the Dismal Future Red Zone, once we get the Mortal Will final stages, Realm of Gods will probably be the hardest one of the hardest categories in the game to fight, you know? So, I mean, this is very good for when we get those bosses, but at the current moment, we don't have, like, the hardest Realm of Gods boss is Red Zone Goku Black. So, they're good. They have this active for 1 difficult fight. It's just annoying and, quite honestly, unnecessary to do that. This is good, right? And then this, I mean, they get extra attack and defense as a second or third attacker. They get the guaranteed additional. One thing I would say that I would change about Goku and Vegeta is maybe on their 12 key, just give them 30% defense for 1 turn, right? I understand they can multiple super attack, and that would be like giving them a lot of defense, but trust me, this character needs it. Because they only stack their defense on 18 key, which means you can't stack your defense. Like, you can't get additionals and stack your defense. It's only the 1 additional per, it's only the 1 super attack per turn that you're able to stack their defense, and it's only 30%. I have had situations where Goku and Vegeta's guard wears off and they're only at like 250k defense. And if they get touched, they're dead. It's as simple as that. Once the guard wears off on this character, they are absolutely dead. Like, it's literally just that. They can live maybe 1 attack and that's it. Because they take like 200k per normal or 150k plus per normal. So that is my biggest pet peeve with this character is legit turn 5. If you don't have the HP restriction to transform into Vegito, it's like you have to put them in slot 1 and you have to hope that they dodge. That is why the best build for this character is dodge. I know. I don't want to say it too. I love dodge, but having to say that a Vegito character needs dodge does hurt me inside too. Trust me. I know. But dodge is good, so it doesn't matter, right? Another thing that really ticks me off, and I guess I could have said the same thing about Zamasu as well. This is so stupid. It should have just been turn 5. Literally, it should have been just turn 5, or when HP falls below 70%, no turn restriction. That's it. Because if they stacked this restriction, it makes it harder to get Vegito out. Now, I understand why they probably stacked this condition because we'll talk about him in a second, but Vegito's overpowered, right? Other than that, they have really decent linking partners, right? The LR Gods are pretty good. I do think that this unit is kind of like the LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku to the LR Gods in a way, right? Because you can use the first 4 turns to stack up with the Gods. Then on turn 5, you can transform into Vegito if you're falling below HP, which the Gods will take enough damage for you to transform. Trust me, they will. Right? You have Blue Kaioken Goku on there. I mean, you have like some good options. God Goku is there. Blue Gogeta, Tech God Goku. This unit has some pretty decent linking partners there as well. Now, again, I say all that, right? And I put them at 5 for a reason. You know, because I think they are very good when they're getting their dodge and stuff like that. And I cannot ignore Vegito. Okay, now this is where I'm going to do something that I have never done on a tier list before, but I think I have to. And it's literally this. It's actually this. So there is a difference between Vegito and the Blues that I think is insane. And I'll put him on here live. I won't do this again for the next tier list that we get, which is going to be updated in about 2 weeks once we get the Part 2 Carnival LRs. But literally, this is how I feel. I feel that Vegito is so insanely powerful that I have to just make his own tier, because this character is that good. He's that crazy, man. He's doing more than a lot of these characters here. Now, yes, I know Bulma's too. I mean, this has been a thing for 2 months now. I've had LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku is the best unit in the game for a while. I do think that LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku is still the best unit in the game, by the way. I mean, other than Vegito, right? But Vegito is an anomaly because keep in mind, this is a transforming character. You can't start out as Vegito. If you could start out as this Vegito, nothing would probably surpass him. So let me talk about why Vegito is just so damn overpowered, right? First of all, this is really high for an LR. Like, this is super high for an LR, right? He's super fitting against all types. He has 50% damage reduction as the first attacker in a turn, so you put him in slot 1. He has 50% damage reduction in slot 1. Then he has a 50% chance to dodge, right? Once he attacks, he loses the extra 30% damage reduction, so it's only 20%. But at that point, you have the 50% chance to dodge, and, you know, the high defenses from supering first, because it's before he attacks. Once Vegito attacks, which I've had Vegito transform, right? First turn with Vegito, he's like at 400k defense. He gets 50% defense per super attack performed, and he can do 5. He can do 5 supers, right? 6 if you do the active skill, which I will explain real fast about everything else. So he can do up to 5 attacks, getting 50% defense on each of those super attacks if he gets them all super. So his defense is well beyond 1,000,000 plus after all those super attacks, right? Then he has this as a second or third attacker, which doesn't really matter too much because you always want to be running Vegito in slot 1, I feel, because of the 50% damage reduction plus 50% chance to dodge, right? This is only really good when you use his active skill, which his active skill condition is the same as the LR Gods. Enemy under 50% HP or you're under 50% HP, right? So you do that in slot 2 or 3, you get this activated. It works exactly like LR Blue Vegeta and Blue Gogeta, the 5th anniversary fusions. You do that in slot 1 or slot 2 and slot 3. You slide Vegito in slot 1, he can do 6 attacks. He does 6 supers. First of all, he might just outright kill the enemy, right? He might just outright murder the enemy before you even get to that 6th attack. And then it's just ridiculous, dude. And then his active skill hits really hard too, because isn't it a crit? No, it's not a crit chance. I'm sorry. It's just everything against all types. So, I mean, yeah, this is the most ridiculous unit ever. And I definitely don't mind doing this. But if I'm being for real, the Blues, they're here. Okay, I like the Orange Piccolo more. I might even say the GT Duo you could put over the Blues, but I'm going to be fair to the Blues because I can't ignore what Vegito is, right? Obviously, I can't ignore what Vegito is because Vegito, I think, is the craziest unit in the game. I genuinely think that Vegito is so powerful that I understand why their transformation condition is bad, right? So there's the tier list for now, right? Obviously, we're going to update this here in 2 weeks when the Part 2 Carnivals drop. Another thing, I like Infinite Zamasu is probably the only other thing that's in this, like, near this Vegito tier. I didn't want to talk about Infinite Zamasu. I didn't want to play, because I don't like placing transformations on tier lists, right? Because we're talking about 2 different characters. In LR Cell is pretty okay in base, but once he goes perfect, he's up here, right? You know, same thing with AJ LR Gohan. I think he's here, but then when she transforms, he's like over here. So that's just my opinion, right? I think Vegito's just way too overpowered, and reflected upon it is my top 10. So here's what I think the top 10 units in the game is. I know you guys can celebrate. Beast isn't on them anymore. Beast isn't on my top 10s anymore. Don't worry. Don't worry, y'all. Beast isn't in my top 10 anymore. So number 1 is Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I'm sorry. I just think he's still too crazy, right? Keep in mind that Majub is basically a better LR Bulma, because you basically transform this guy into, you know, Insanity, who does 18 million attack stats with crits, right? And the 2-turn 70% defensive support is too good on Majub for me, right? Bulma is still, Bulma's still crazy though. Don't get me wrong. Listen, like I said, I feel like you can basically mix and match these 6 characters right here. I think that the Z duo, they're very good, but I don't think they're like this level good. You know what I'm talking about? You guys know what I'm saying. I think the Z duo is incredible, but I don't think you can really like swap them out with these guys. I think that Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Bulma, Merge Zamasu, Orange Piccolo, the Blues, and the GT duo, you can just mix and match. The top 6, it doesn't matter what order you place them in, you just know they're the top 6 characters in the game, right? Then the Blue Fusions, I do typically have them tied, but I do think Vegito is better, especially now that we have this guy, which I think Vegito just got a crazy partner. We'll see what happens, right? Because Vegito was worldwide, people are speculating that Tanabata is going to be Gogeta Blue. So I guess we'll see what happens in 10 months when Tanabata drops. And then Kai Goku. Kai Goku's just really good, right? Kai Goku's a healer. He has the guard. He has the high defenses. He's just a pretty decent character overall. No Vegeta and Trunks on the top 10 though. That's insane, man. It's crazy, but I feel like, yeah, Vegeta and Trunks have finally been dethroned from the top 10 status, dude. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, 8, 9, whatever. I tie them at 8, and then 9, 10. This is insanity, dude. I think this is perfect, honestly. Honestly, I agree with this tier. I would agree with this tier list. I think the majority of the player base might agree with it. The only thing is, I know people kind of have Goku in like their top 5, right? They typically, from what I've seen, have Goku like here, but I don't care. I don't care. Monkey Man, go crazy. That's all I gotta say. So if you guys made it to the end of the video, leave your boy a like and subscribe. Discuss down in the comments. I will gladly discuss with all of you why I think this, and this. If you guys made it to the end, as always, leave your boy a like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one.